Greetings, dear friends. It's Gordon Turnbull here at John Knox. I'd like to share with you today some statements from Jesus about the blessedness of life in the kingdom of God, or the kingdom of heaven, as Matthew's gospel puts it. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, in the fifth chapter and chapters that follow, he starts with statements of blessing, beatitudes, that describe the blessedness of life in God's rule. And among them, one I think is particularly timely for us. He says this in verse 9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. I think in the troubled times that we're living through right now, it's good for us to think about peace as the Bible offers it to us. And so often I'm aware that we think of peace in a selfish, individual sort of way as a state of mind or merely an absence of trouble. And to be sure, peace includes those things, but it's so much more than that. I think biblically, as a gift from God, peace is not just about absence of trouble or absence of conflict even. It's about well-being. It's about the fullness of life working right together. And to me, the call for peace and for making peace is to wage that kind of work in the living of our lives socially, one with another, and within our own hearts and minds. As we receive the gift of God's salvation in Jesus Christ, it creates conditions of peace. It reconciles us with God from our sinfulness to a state where we are cooperating with and indeed serving the glory of God. And part of that service is the working of peace, the making of peace, the waging of peace in the lives of those beyond us. Boy, does our world need that right now. People who will make peace. People who will take on the work of joining God in helping to create conditions in which we and others can share in the fullness of God's gifts, in which we and others can share in the blessedness and the peacefulness and the tranquility of untroubled life. Untroubled because the hard challenges have been resolved in the gifts that are given an entire community, and no one is excluded from the goodness. We're called to make peace. And the people who do that, Jesus says, are blessed in the kingdom of God, and they shall be called children of God. Children of God is an idiom in the Hebrew way of speaking. Sons of God, more literally. That means people who are like this, right? People who are like God. In other words, when we're making peace, when we're doing peace work in the world, when we're agents of blessing in this way, we are like God. We're doing God's work with God. And God must truly just love to see children, folks like God, who are honoring the image of God within us and honoring the image of God in others. When we recognize that in ourselves and each other and live together to bring that up, oh my goodness, how blessed are we, and how delighted God must be. I call you today to claim the blessedness of being a peacemaker. Wage some peace. Be an agent of reconciliation and grace in our world today. As we do, may the blessing of God rest on us and strengthen us for the good work. Amen.